Well, hello, hustler. Welcome to another episode of The Wellness Hustle. I'm Brit Tincup. I'm a creative designer, a serial entrepreneur who lived with chronic stress that had me testing every health and fitness tip and trick that would make me feel like myself again. And I'm joined by my co-host, Sasha Fisher, an ex-pro athlete, personal trainer, and nutritional therapy practitioner with years of experience helping high-achieving individuals to reach their health and fitness goals. We're here to redefine what wellness means, simplifying health, fitness, and self-care, empowering you to fuel ambition and embrace wellness, because we believe that hustle isn't a bad word. When applied properly, it's a superpower. Now let's jump in. Welcome back to another episode of The Wellness Hustle. We are so happy you're here. I'm here with Sasha, my co-host, and today we are talking about blood sugar and blood sugar regulation. And I am just so excited about this topic.
Me too, because I geek on that. Like, I love that topic so much. People who follow me on Instagram probably know.
Yes.
And that's one of my favorite topics to talk about.
Yeah. And so I am excited to learn. I don't know a lot about this topic. So I just kind of want to hear, like, what are your clients? How do you work with your clients with blood? Like, just kick me off. Let's get started. Like, just talk to me about blood sugar regulation. How do your clients
work with my clients? And where do I start? Usually we already talked about this. I like to see food and mood journal. Mm-hmm. And the first thing we see is the blood sugar is regulated properly in your body. Mm-hmm. And the way we see it in your mood. Also, I can see it the way you're eating, like your eating patterns, but also mood will tell us a lot about if your blood sugar is balanced or if it's not.
Okay.
So you'll see is it energy swings and mood swings, sometimes headache, waking up in the middle of the night. All those can be signs of blood sugar dysregulation, getting hangry. Okay. Constantly have to bring snacks with you everywhere you go because you might get snappy and hangry. We all know people like that.
I might be one of those people.
Oh, no. You're not anymore.
Not anymore. So I have learned so much from this podcast personally. Thank you, Sasha.
You're welcome.
And I've been kind of doing some of the things that we've talked about on this podcast, like, for example, trying to eat 3 meals a day, which was something that I have struggled with eating 3 meals a day my entire life. I typically skip lunch, and then I don't eat until 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night, and I'm usually starving. So I'm the person who carried around snacks with me and was just, like, riding on the thin line of potentially snapping at somebody at any given point.
So you were like grazing more so.
I was a big grazer.
A lot of women are grazers. Pretty much most of my clients who come to me, they're grazing. Throughout the day, they're busy, we're bringing stuff in our purses, and it's not the best choices. Sometimes we go to vending machines, sometimes we drive through, get something from Starbucks. So it's a culture, unfortunately. We forget how to sit down, have dinner together as a family. You have kids be driving everywhere. So it's a thing for sure.
Yeah. And
you can see it in the public health right now and our metabolic health. Okay. Definitely.
Yeah. It's interesting that you say that because obviously we're seeing, I think, and again, like always, we're not doctors, so always go talk to a doctor and
100%.
Get your panels and all of that stuff. But I do want to say that, like, you know, I've been dealing with hormonal issues personally for the last year. I came off of birth control in March of last year, and it was my first time being off of birth control in 20 years. And so it really messed up my body, like in so many ways. Physically, mm-hmm. I felt it internally, mentally. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it came to my attention and just randomly on a podcast that I was listening to, they were talking about hormone regulation. And someone just said, yeah, when you regulate your blood sugar, it also regulates your hormones. That was all I knew. That's all I've ever heard about it.
Right, because there's a lot of hormones that go and play to regulate your blood sugar, your glucose levels. And then all hormones tie together.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about what blood sugar regulation actually is. Like, what is blood sugar's role in the body and how do we regulate it?
Okay, so the blood sugar comes in, number one, when you eat food.
Okay.
Right? So food comes in the form of some of it's form of sugars. So your body will break it down and will put it into the bloodstream, and you can only have so much in your bloodstream. The rest of it is gonna go into your liver, and the rest of it is gonna go into your muscle. And the rest is gonna go if it's too much. So you can only store 100 gram in the liver, and we can store up to 400 or more. Depends how much muscle mass you have. The more muscle you have, the more glucose you can store. And the rest, if you ate, say, a lot of cookies and you have way more than we can store, it's gonna be broken down and it's gonna go into your fat deposits.
Okay, and what exactly is glucose? Just simplified.
It's blood sugar, so it's sugar.
Okay, great.
Glucose is sugar, same thing.
Okay.
And when we store glucose, it becomes glycogen.
Okay.
So then if we say we need some energy, we can pull from the glycogen. So we can pull it from your liver. And then the muscle will use the glycogen within the muscle. So it will never go into your body. And then you have another storage, it's like far away storage in your fat deposits, and it's hard for your body to pull it out. But when it needs to pull it out, like when we're completely out of sugar and everywhere else, then it's going to pull out of your fat. That's like very simple way and not very scientific way of describing it.
But that's what I like.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, because I think that's helpful to people is like, yeah, I mean, and when you think of people from a fitness perspective that are trying to lose weight, and you're talking about this, and it's like, okay, well, if the last place it's being pulled from, glucose is being pulled from, is from my fat, then that probably means that I'm hanging on to a lot of that fat as well. Is that correct? Or am I?
Right.
Okay.
And if you're constantly snacking and eating, that's the quick energy units, quick glucose. So the body's going to utilize that first. It's not going to go back. It's like, imagine you're paying for something. You're going to pull out your Apple Pay.
Yeah.
That's going to be a quick glucose what you're eating.
Okay.
The glucose you stored in the fat, it's like wiring money from like Russia to United States. Like a lot of paperwork, a lot of effort. But if you're completely out of money everywhere else, you're going to do the effort. You're going to get that money.
You got it. That is a great analogy. That is a great analogy. Okay, so how do we increase blood sugar? Let's start there. How do we increase our blood sugar levels?
Okay, so we really don't want to increase the blood sugar levels, right? But there's two ways it will happen. Once when you're eating.
Okay.
So everybody knows that you eat, you're going to increase your blood sugar, hopefully not too much. And we talked about it in the previous podcasts, and we'll talk about it more here, how we want to keep your blood sugar steady and why. So eating, number one, and two, stress will do that. So yeah, unfortunately, sometimes people have a hard time losing weight, and this is why, because they are stressed. And what happens is, unfortunately, the way our bodies are designed, back in the day when we were chased by wild animals, we needed that energy. And remember, I told you we store some in the liver. So the body is not gonna go into fat deposits and wiring money from Russia to the United States. They're actually gonna go to liver. It's gonna be like your Visa card in your wallet, right? Really quick, grab that glucose from your liver and you're gonna bring it back into the bloodstream, and it's going to circulate so you can run fast. But if you're not running, if you're sitting at your desk and you're stressed at work, so what happens with this blood sugar that is extra in your blood? It's going to circulate. You don't need it. It's going to get stored into fat. Oh,
wait. Okay.
So frustrating.
Okay. So the blood sugar, the glucose that is being stored in our liver, is that
glycogen back into the bloodstream for you to run when you're stressed.
But if you're not
running, if you're just stressed because of whatever happens at work, at home,
it's being added into the fat. I just had an aha moment for my own personal. Because when I was 18, I moved to Southern California. I met my ex-husband, and I was under a chronic amount of stress. It was crazy. I moved down there with no car. I couldn't get a job. It was 2008, so there were no jobs available. It was super, super stressful. And I ended up gaining so much weight. I mean, I was 100 pounds heavier 5 years ago. And so, and I think that, you know, I was kind of depressed. I was like sitting at home a lot. My lifestyle had changed a lot.
Yeah. So all of the things together.
Wow. How do people know that they need to measure? Like, how would I have known that I needed to measure my blood sugar levels?
Like regulate it.
Yeah.
On the same measure. I mean, you can measure it. You can get like the continuous blood sugar monitor.
Okay.
And I played with that and it was really interesting. But you don't have to do it. You will know if you eat a meal and you get hungry within like few hours, couple hours, you know you did not eat a proper meal to regulate your blood sugar.
Okay.
You should be full for like at least 4 hours after your meal.
Okay.
You shouldn't be, you know, then, so if you start craving, if you start getting hangry, jittery hands, like you have to food.
Wait, you just made direct eye contact at jittery hands. I have the shakiest hands you've ever seen.
No, I think you take it personally because I was just talking.
No, it's 100% me. And no. I do need to be called out on every time Sasha comes over to record a podcast. I am seriously I have the shakiest hands. But look at, pretty good. That's an improvement.
Yeah, you're good. You're doing good. Yeah, you're making changes. You're doing good.
Yeah. So shaky hands. Okay. Yeah. So what are some of the other things?
So you can wake up in the middle of the night simply because, say you ate like a big dessert.
Okay.
And you feel good, you went to sleep, you fall asleep, but then you wake up in the middle of the night. What happens is your blood sugar jump pretty high, but then what happens to their body? It doesn't go and correct it to where it wants it to be, always overcorrects. So your blood sugar, if you have a big spike, it's gonna drop down. And the drop down, that's what wakes you up. So if you're waking up in the middle of the night, it could be due to blood sugar dysregulation.
So if people are drinking late at night, how does alcohol play into that, out of curiosity?
Alcohol is just a toxin.
Okay.
But if you're doing sugary drinks on top of it, then you have your sugar and your alcohol.
Got it.
So your body needs to, A, get rid of toxins out of the body. That's what's working on really hard. And then B, it's dealing with the blood sugar dysregulation as well on top of it. So it's two things instead of one.
Okay, got it. Because I just think like I've had situations where I've been drinking. Usually when it was when I was drinking beer, I would wake up a lot in the middle of the night.
Well, you probably have to pee too.
Yeah.
Beer makes people go to the bathroom very often.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Yeah. That's all of that.
Also gluten. There's a ton of gluten.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Beer is altogether, my husband will tell you, I absolutely it's my least favorite thing. I would never put it in my body. Just what I know.
I just love beer so much. I don't know that I want to know the things because I can have a Corona and that's pretty much it. So like a single Corona.
Yeah, because I mean, you told me you're gluten intolerant.
Yeah.
So it's like the worst thing you can ever do for yourself.
So if people who have like blood sugar irregulation, do those people typically, would you try to steer them away from gluten? Is that something, because is carbohydrates, you break those down and they turn into sugars, is that right? Or am I losing my mind?
Right, no, that's right. But if gluten is the protein.
Okay.
It's not, it doesn't do anything for blood sugar. But usually it is in some form of carbohydrate, right?
Yeah.
It's in the bread.
Totally.
It's in the cakes and pastas, all of those things.
Yeah.
So those have sugars because they're simple carbohydrates. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. I actually had some orzo, like durum wheat orzo, really clean organic this week in an Italian wedding soup I made. And I was waking up at 3:00 in the morning. Both days I had it. And I had it for dinner. So I wonder if that has anything to do with it. I'm always trying to connect the dots to personal experiences. So
right, but if you had a lot of protein with it and a lot of good fat, you might be okay. Yeah. You gotta figure out, maybe you ate late at night and that will keep you up at night too.
Right.
One more thing I wanted to touch on is if you have a hard time staying on a healthy diet, you're craving, you don't have enough energy, that means you can probably look into your blood sugar regulation as well and balance your meals, put more protein, more good fat, less of a carbohydrate. And that's going to help you to stay on your healthy diet.
And it makes so much sense because if you're adding more protein into your diet, then you're supporting your muscle mass.
Yes.
And if you're working out, your muscle mass is improving as well. And then your ability to store glucose and glucose is higher.
Yeah.
So then blood sugar regulation.
Here we go.
Okay, so on that note, why is blood sugar regulation the foundation of sustainable nutrition, and how does it impact all the other areas of wellness?
And this is what I'm so passionate about.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not a lot of wellness professionals are talking about it. I think it's starting to get a little wave right now. I see more and more people starting to talk about it, but it's been overlooked for so many years. We've been on a fat-free diet for so many years. Then we were on keto. Then we were on all kinds of different things. But the blood sugar, why it's so important, is that when you're not balancing your blood sugar, you are just all on the willpower with your nutrition. Because you're craving, you're dropping, you don't have any energy, you're cranky. So when you can just get rid of that, I mean, that's easy. The healthy nutrition becomes so much easier, right? If you're not craving, if you're not cranky, if you have energy. And it's the only way that I know that you can get there is by balancing your blood sugar. So when people say, oh, it's not important, who cares? It is. To me, it's the foundation to a healthy nutrition, to me personally. Because I tried all kinds of ways of eating healthy. I tried paleo, I tried keto, I tried fat-free back in the day, all of the things. And I did the bodybuilding competitions, right?
Yeah.
And that's very lean protein, and you're not eating enough calories. So it's a whole another animal. But if you are not balancing your blood sugar, if you are going up and down with your cravings and your energy levels, you're just not going to stay on that program.
Yeah.
Bottom line, you're just going to crash, and then you're going to eat everything around you.
I'm going to bring the caveman back up, but
yeah,
it makes sense because we're built to eat a balanced diet. That has helped me personally so much. I've noticed such a difference in just the last 2 weeks of listening to what you've shared, but it almost creates this ripple effect.
It does, because you sleep better, you have more energy, right? You have more energy, you have better workouts. You have better gains. Like,
yeah, we like
gains, people. So yeah, you build better muscle, stronger. So you get to your goals quicker. You stay on your program forever. Because for us as a fitness professionals, we don't want you to be on the program for a week or 2 or 3, right?
No.
Hopefully. That's why I hate those, like, people have, let's just have like a week of transformation or a week or whatever. No, like, what happens after?
Yeah.
That's why I always want to teach my clients to create a lifestyle.
Right.
How can we get there? How can it be sustainable? How it can fit into your lifestyle where it's supporting you, but also you're happy about how you feel, how you look, because that's important too. A lot of people want to look a certain way. And yeah, so all of it plays a huge role. Yeah. And I feel like the blood sugar regulation is kind of foundation for everything.
It's so awesome. I want to jump into like simple steps of how do people keep their blood sugar stable throughout the day, because I've just noticed such a big difference. I'm serious. Like, and the more we talk about it, the more I realize in the last 2 weeks, and when I say I've been consistently eating 3 meals a day and just trying to keep them balanced, and I haven't put a lot of thought into it. I've really enjoyed it. I didn't have to detox anything. I didn't have to do any hard stuff. It was just like eat food, eat meals. So what are like the simple steps?
Well, I think you start with the savory breakfast. I always say, like, so let's start from the beginning. You wake up, right? Drink a lot of water, and you start with savory breakfast. That's going to set you up for success for the rest of the day. So when people used to say, oh, eat your sugars in the morning, that way when you go to sleep, you're not going to get fat. No, this is not how it works. If you start eating sugars in the morning, it's going to set you up on that roller coaster ride from the get-go, like from the beginning. So you're going to crash, then you're going to crave, then you're going to crash, then you're going to eat something you shouldn't be eating that's not supporting your goal. So keep it clean, lots of lean protein in the morning. If you can, have some greens in there for fiber, like maybe, I know it's funny for people to even imagine to have a salad for breakfast, but sometimes I'll do like my omelet, right? With vegetables.
Right.
So then you get your fiber from vegetables and eggs, good fat from yolk. Have a little toast sourdough on the side if that's what you need, but it's gonna be okay because you have all these vegetables and protein with the little piece of sourdough. And that's gonna set you up for success. So then you're not gonna be craving at 10 o'clock when you're in the office to go to the vending machine or kitchen and pick up some chocolate chip cookies.
Well, and that's a big thing I've noticed is that my cravings have really gone away. Like, I used to go over to my parents' house at the end of the day, and my mom was joking. She was like, "You're eating this out of house and home," because they have all the snacks there. And so I would get there and I'd eat everything in sight, and like, I'm not having that issue anymore. I haven't had all their snacks there.
That's awesome.
So it's been really, really nice. And I think just going back to what you were saying on starting with a savory breakfast, it goes back to having, a balanced meal of like protein, healthy fats, and fiber.
Right. And then after that, just if you need to snack, have your snacks that are like raw nuts.
Yeah.
Right? Like something that is without sugar. Don't eat like an apple by itself.
Right.
Have a peanut butter with it.
Sasha, I'm just realizing I haven't had a bag of chips in a week.
Oh, wow.
I know. That bag of chips that we bought together at the grocery store was the last bag of chips I've had. And I ate it that night.
Oh no.
The whole bag.
See, so you're only strong as your options also, right? So don't buy those things if you know you're gonna eat it and you're gonna eat the whole bag, right? Just don't buy it.
I know we've talked about too, like, sorry to jump over, but I just had a moment of ADHD, but like the apple cider vinegar thing before, I've heard that multiple times.
Right. It's one of the tips. And it does help to regulate your blood sugar. It helps your spikes. So your blood sugar is not going to spike as much.
Okay.
According to science, 30% less.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool.
Okay.
Also, it's very important to move your butt after you had a big meal. You know how Thanksgiving meal, everybody eats turkey and then fall asleep watching football on the couch.
Hi.
Hi. I've done it so many
times.
Yes. It's the worst thing you can do. So you really want to get up and move. At least like clean your dishes, put things away, right? Do some air squats, go for a walk with your dog. Like I usually just take Moon for a walk after dinner.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all you need is just quick little movement, like 10 minutes is good enough, but it's gonna help you to balance the blood sugar.
It's so interesting because our natural habits, like that you should be doing just to be like, when you're done with a meal, you have dishes to clean.
Exactly.
And so it's like, that would be 10 minutes of like moving around the kitchen and cleaning up. And it's like, so maybe just build into your routine that you do 10 to 15 minutes of cleanup afterwards.
Right. The little squats in between.
Yeah.
Also lift weights. The more muscle you have, as we know, the more glycogen you can store, which is sugar. So that's really empowering, right?
Yeah. And you're seeing those gains too, which we love, which I feel like my workout. So I've been consistent this week. And I know we've been talking about how I've been like so inconsistent with my workouts. I've worked out 5 times this week. It's Friday.
Girl,
I know.
5. This is awesome.
Pretty pleased about that. And it's been every workout has been a great workout. I think part of that is because I'm not drinking right now. So it's just like easy to wake up in the morning and go do it.
Yeah.
I switched to waking up at 5 a.m. again. So that was great. And then, it's just like I eat a little protein meat stick before I go to the gym. I'm locked and loaded.
And then the last thing we want to talk to you guys about what you can do to minimize. You got to minimize the stress. Because if you're stressed, and I know it's easier said than done, but you could do certain things, like little things will count. Like when you sit in traffic, this is something that I was trying to remember to do. When you sit in traffic at the light, try to work on your breathing. Like deep breath in, deep breath out, right? If you don't want to do meditation, fine. I don't want to do meditation either, but I started to do yoga in the morning a little bit, move around, like maybe stretching, maybe you can take a yoga class, go on a nature walk, We all know nature will calm us, get the stress out of your body, spend time with your animals if you have some. If not, borrow somebody's animals because they definitely de-stress us most of the time.
Yeah. I did start doing meditation. I know we talked about that in another podcast, but I did start doing meditation. It's a breathwork meditation.
Yeah.
And so I have noticed that is also helping me stay very calm.
That's awesome. So those are the things that you can do to balance your blood sugar.
I mean, it's really, when you look at it, it's such a simple thing. Like, it's so simple changes for like a very
big overhaul results, I think.
Yeah, like why not just eat the food that I'm getting to eat is, like I said, I made like a Italian wedding soup last week. I made a lemon chicken with some veggies. Like, I've also just been enjoying being in my kitchen again. So I think it's like, if you're avoiding those center aisles and focusing on the produce and focusing on the meat and focusing on the dairy if you can have it, but trying to find ways to eat like foods that are made by the earth god, what you're intended to eat.
Well, I had a client today and she was freaking out. She's like, oh, I'm trying to be good, but tonight I have to go to Cheesecake Factory with my family. That's what everybody wanted to do. And that's a real life situation. I'm like, all right, let's look at the menu. I'm like, look, there's a beautiful salad you can order. And then you can order a burger without the bun. So that's like a big chunk of protein. And she was so happy.
Yeah.
She's getting her burger. Okay, who cares about the bun? You can ditch the bun once. You know what I mean? It's not a big deal. Have a beautiful salad dressing on the side. Yeah. And there we go. And I'm sold.
Quite frankly, I love a burger without a bun. Because I have to eat it that way. And I love it. It brings me joy. And it fuels me up, and you got all the little veggies that come with it. Yeah. Sometimes I get bacon with it. It's great. We went to, we have a restaurant here called Land Ocean. We went to it yesterday, and my dad and I did. And my dad ordered filet mignon, and it comes with like a teriyaki sauce on it. And obviously it comes with potatoes and all of that stuff too, and mushrooms. So my dad just said, can you get rid of the teriyaki, and can I get second veggie instead of the potatoes? And we're like, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
So
easy peasy. You can always ask.
Yeah. Okay. So just to make sure I have everything, we're looking for signs that our blood sugar needs to be balanced. Those things could be mood irregulation. They could be lack of sleep. It could be, remind me of some of the other ones.
Hangry, headache.
Okay. And then from there, kind of just realizing that like balanced blood sugar is the foundation for all sustainable energy. Also like the mental clarity that I've had, which for me, like focus is a hard thing. And I've been able, again, like talk to your doctor, but I have chosen to come off of my ADHD medication. And I have felt better than I've ever felt again in the last 2 weeks.
That's awesome.
So
another high five today.
Yes. I mean, I'm like feeling really, really good. So I think just it's really important to pay attention to these things for your long-term health. And if you're having people ask you questions or trying to diagnose you with things, and like you haven't tried to adjust your diet, or you haven't had a conversation with somebody about your diet as far as like your doctor or anything like that, I think it's really, really important to try to have that conversation.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then just, it's really small tweaks like meal composition, healthy fibers and fats. Why did I say healthy fibers? It's always healthy for you. Healthy fats. Fiber and protein. Awesome. Do you have anything else that we need to add for blood sugar?
I think we covered a lot.
Yeah.
I'm just curious what people think about it. If it was too much, if it was just enough information, it's always interesting to get feedback from you guys.
Yeah. I would love to hear too, just like DM us if any sort of feedback. Because again, we're like new at this, and I'm so passionate about it. I know Sasha is too. So anytime that we can share this information, we're just grateful to do it.
I appreciate all the support, you guys. Thank you for listening, tuning in. And we'll chat with you guys soon in the next podcast episode.
We'll see you on another time.
The information shared on the Wellness Hustle is for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute medical, nutritional, or professional advice. The opinions expressed by the hosts are their own and should not replace consultation with a qualified healthcare professional. Always do your own research and consult with a medical or wellness expert before making changes to your health or fitness routines. We are not responsible for any decisions or actions taken based on the information shared in this podcast.